Morning class, this is Will Kemp from Will Kemp Art School. I'm just going to show you a quick demo on some really basic palette knife techniques for mixing your colours. This is with some oil colour. This is titanium white, which often when it comes out of the tube straight from the paint manufacturer, see how hard I have to squeeze it? It comes out quite a stiff consistency. So you see how when I'm pushing that around, it's harder to push around. I'll just show you with a bit of acrylic paint just so you can see the difference in the consistency between the two. So here is some artist quality acrylic. This is golden acrylic. This is their heavy body range. You can see the difference, how that moves a lot easier than the oil titanium white. This is harder to push around. You'll also notice it's probably quite hard because it's white on white, but how the titanium white with the oil paint isn't quite as bright white as the titanium white in the acrylics. This is the acrylic here and this is the oil paint here. So when I'm working, I prefer to use a palette knife that's got a hard edge on it, like an angle to it. This is a number 45 and it's by a company called RGM. I think they're quite a standard palette knife. I've found them very, very good. They've never snapped on me or broken on me. They've got, what's called like a nice flexibility in them, and you can mix with them very well. I like when you've got a flat edge because it means that what you can do is you can scrape, off the bottom of your palette, of your surface, and really, get a lot of the pigment out. So when you're mixing, essentially all you're doing is kind of just keeping on moving the paint around and around just so that it mixes in together. And what I always do is kind of with the edge of the palette is like I push it into the middle and push it around. If anyone's ever made cement, it's a very, very similar process really, is you just keep on pushing it in together and mixing it all through. As you begin to push on the bottom part of the palette, you'll find that you'll start to get bits of residue that come on the top of the palette. So you'll see as I work, I often then turn it upside down just to scrape that off and then push it back in. So with artist quality titanium white, when you're first using that in your painting, it can sometimes be too stiff for the first underlayers of your painting. So what I'll often do is just add a bit of medium to them just to make it a bit more liquid. This is just odorless mineral spirits here that I'm just adding in to start with. And I just use a pipette just to drop a few bits on. If you're using acrylics, again, pipettes can be very handy because you can just drop a small amount of water onto your paint and just mix that in at a small bit at a time. So you see how I start to push it all in together. I'm still just, kind of working in from the sides. And I'll start to scrape it, and you like fold it over on itself. I suppose it's like mixing anything, mixing cement, mixing cake mixture, it's all exactly the same. Then if I wanted to dilute it a bit more, I might add a touch of my medium in. This is the very simple linseed oil and odorless mineral spirits medium, a very basic one. And that's looking a nicer consistency, for putting on at the stage of painting that I'm at. See again how I push it in and then kind of fold it over and you push it down. You can be quite hard with the palette knife, so I can put quite a lot of pressure on here and it will still withstand it. Then if I'm transferring it onto the painting or onto the palette, I just kind of scoop some up. So if I'm working onto the painting and I'm, you know, painting with the palette knife, I'll often grab it. So you see how it kind of creates this bead, you know, along the bottom of it, and that's what you're looking for. So then once you've got that, so it's on, you know, one side of your palette, it's easier then to twist that around and, you know, push it onto your painting. Okay, that's it. This is Will Kemp from Will Kemp Art School.